YouTube streaming, please, and let me know when it's live.
The stream is now live.
Thank you.
Ten seconds ago. Great. We just confirmed that the IT is all working. Right. Welcome to this annual council meeting. You will note there's only 20 members present. Due to the cessation of the flexible arrangements for the on the 7th of May 2021, it is now a requirement that the majority of formal meetings convene in person. Having been unable to find a suitable alternative venue, group leaders agreed that it would meet in the council chamber and would hold this number of people while social distancing remains a requirement. Although minimal officers are present in the room, other officers are joining us remotely, as the requirement to meet in person only applies to councillors and where required, members of the public. There is still the opportunity for those members not present, public and press, to listen and view proceedings onto the council's YouTube channel as the meeting is being streamed live. New systems are being used, therefore please be guided by the officers and be patient as things may take longer than normal. Before the meeting starts, I'd like to invite the committee member and scrutiny manager to update you on the systems being used and confirm that the officers in remote attendance are present. Hilary?
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to ask the officers attending by remote means to confirm their attendance, which are Anthony Roche.
Good evening.
Thank you. And Melanie Stimpson.
Good evening.
Thank you. Cameras, new cameras have been installed, and these cameras are linked to the microphones and will move to show whoever has their microphone on. The meeting, as you know, is being live streamed on the council's YouTube channel. When an officer who is in attendance remotely speaks, they will be shown on the screens around the room and will be visible on the YouTube live screen. If a member wishes to speak, they should use the speak button located on their microphone unit. The microphone will light up green and the chair will be alerted of your request to speak. When the chair invites you to speak, your microphone will be made live and will turn red, at which time you can speak. Please can I remind you that the normal procedure rules in respect of debate and times will apply. No speeches may be made until the mover has moved a proposal and explained the purpose and it has been seconded. When seconding a motion or amendment, a member may reserve their right to speech until later in the debate. In accordance with the Constitution, please can members ensure that no speech exceeds 5 minutes without the consent of the chair. If a member has a closure motion, personal explanation or point of order, you must indicate this by pressing the speak button on your microphone and raising your hand to alert the chair. Voting. When requested to vote, voting will be via the yes, no, and abstain buttons on your microphone unit. Instructions on how to use this are on the back of your nameplates. Details of how members voted will be shown on the screens around the room, and the result will be visible on the YouTube live stream. In the event of a tied vote, the chair will have the casting vote. Members and officers are required to wear masks when standing or moving around the room or the building. Masks can be removed whilst seated. Exit and entry into the room and the building will be guided by marshals. Are there any questions before we start? Thank you. I'll now hand over to the Chair of the Council, Councillor Terry Tyler.
Thank you, Hilary. We move on to item 2, which is the election of the Chair for the Council for the civic year 2021-22. Can I invite nominations for the Chair of the Council for this coming civic year.
Yes, could I nominate Councillor Val Bryant?
Can I have a seconder for that? Paul Clark?
Mr. Chairman, I have great pleasure in seconding Councillor Val Bryant.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Okay. In that case, can we move to Hilary? Oh, don't need to vote. Sorry, don't need to vote because there's no. Sorry, apologies. Okay. Oh, okay. That's why it's confusing me. Okay, we need to change over then. May I welcome Councillor Val Bryant as the new chair for this next coming year.
In these unusual times, the chain is on the desk for the new chair to chain herself. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, Mum. Better. Okay. Thank you for voting me in. I'm very honoured. I want to read you the Declaration of Acceptance of Office. I've been elected to the office of Chair for the District of North Hertfordshire. Hereby declare I will take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the Code of Conduct, which for the time being applies to me as Councillor of North Hertfordshire District Council. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you again for voting me as the new chair of the council. My consort will be Stuart Bryant. I'd like to thank Councillor Terry Tyler for his work over the past year as chair of the council. We've just been discussing his last year. He's only ever parked in his parking space in the car park twice and has never taken a live full council. All this has been is online involved in dealing with all that technology. So I think he might actually enjoy being vice chair again, even more than being chair. I would like to propose that the council places on record its sincere thanks and appreciation to Councillor Terry Tyler for his service as chair of the council during the past year, and also to his consort, Mrs. Deborah Freeman, for her help and support during his term of office. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you. Does everyone agree? Thank you. I'll move on to item 3. Apologies for absence.
Chairman, I'd like to put on record that I would like to give the apologies for the 14 members of my group that are not here tonight. Obviously, we have extreme circumstances, but the council did not find a big venue where all elected members could take their seats at the annual council meeting. And therefore, I think it is appropriate that they are marked as sending their apologies. So I would like to give the 14 members that are not here from the Conservatives their apologies. And if the other group leaders want to do that for their groups, I'm sure they will. Thank you.
Yes. So that's for the Liberal Democrats and the Conservative councillors. Want their apologies noted. Thank you. Now, item 4, election of the Vice Chair of the Council, the civic year 2021 to 2022. I would like to invite nominations for the Vice Chair of the Council for the civil year 2021 to 2022.
Madam Chairman, can I propose Councillor Terry Tyler? I know it is unusual to propose the outgoing chair, but the last year, as you yourself have said, has not been exactly normal, and one would expect an experience as you go through the chair. Clearly, Terry has had a different experience, and I feel it is only fair to him and the charities he supports, because they will have lost out in the pandemic times, that I support him and put him forward as Vice Chair of this council for the ensuing year. Thank you.
Seconder?
Yes, Madam Chair, I wish to second Terry Tyler.
Are there any other nominations? Councillor Dunn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to propose Councillor Simon Bloxam for Vice Chairman.
Seconder? Councillor Strong?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I would like to second that nomination and to propose Councillor Simon Bloxam, which may be a surprise to some members in this chamber because he's obviously been newly elected. However, Councillor Bloxam is what I would call a returnee. And when he was a councillor before, he never was able to take the chair of North Herts District Council. And it is an ambition of his always to actually be on as the chairman of the council, since his father was chairman. And he has this wish that he would also be on the boards alongside his father with that recognition of the chairmanship. So I'm delighted to second, and I hope that the councillors that are here tonight will be forthcoming in actually allowing Councillor Bloxam to fulfil his wish. Thank you.
Strong. Any further nominations?
Yeah, I'm not able to vote at this point. My card's not in. Be sorted, please.
Shall we go to the vote?
1 second.
Yes.
It's automatic.
Are you ready? Thank you. What will the voting will work as follows. When indicated, please use the yes button on your microphone unit to indicate a vote for the relevant councillor. So first, can we ask you to vote if you are in favour of Councillor Terry Tyler as Vice Chair of the Council, and use your yes buttons. Matthew, are you ready? Please press them now. Thank you. Have you all voted? Thank you, Matthew. So that is 11 yeses for Councillor Tyler. Can you clear the votes, please? Can we go through the same process, please? Will those wishing to vote for Councillor Simon Bloxam as Vice Chair of the Council please press their yes button on their microphone unit now, please? Are you ready? Yes, now, please. Have you all voted? Thank you, Matthew. So that's 9 for Councillor Bloxam. In that case, Councillor Tyler has been voted as Vice Chair with 11 votes. Thank you. I must advise you the same as I did for Councillor Bryant, that your chair is on the table. Your chair is on the table. Your chain is on the table for you to place on yourself. Thank you.
I, Terry Tyler, have been elected to the office of Vice Chair of the District of North Hertfordshire. Hereby declare that the said office upon myself, and I will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code of conduct, which is for the time being applies to me and the Council of Hertfordshire, North Hertfordshire. And thank you very much.
Item 5 minutes, the 15th of April 2021. I would like to propose that we take as read and approve as a true record the minutes of the meeting of council held on the 15th of April 2021. Can I have a seconder, please?
Vice Chair.
Thank you. Any comments? Should we go to the vote?
So you can now use your yes, no, and abstain buttons. So if you, are you ready, Matthew? If you can vote now, please. Have you all finished? Thank you, Matthew. Thank you. Can you turn my microphone off? Thank you.
Item 6, Chair's announcements. 1, audio recording. In accordance with the council policy, this meeting is being audio recorded as well as filmed. The audio recordings will be available to view on ModGov and the film recordings via the NHDC YouTube channel. Climate emergency. Members are reminded that this council has declared a climate emergency. This is a very serious decision, and it means that as this is an emergency, all of us, officers and members, have that in mind as we carry out our various roles and tasks for the benefit of our district. Declarations of interest. Members are reminded to make declarations of interest before an item. The detailed reminder about this and speaking rights is set out under Chair's announcements on the agenda. New members. I would like to welcome and congratulate the following new members of the District Council for their successful election on the 6th of May 2021. Councillor Amy Allen, Councillor Simon Bloxam, Councillor Adam Compton, Councillor Joanne Cowell, Councillor Sarah Dingley, Councillor Nigel Mason, and Councillor Mandy Tandy. Re-elected members, I'd like to congratulate the following who were successfully re-elected at the District Council elections. Councillor Ian Albert, Councillor Paul Clark, Councillor Elizabeth Dennis Harburg, Councillor Terry Hone, Councillor David Levitt, Councillor Ian Mantle, Councillor Claire Strong, Councillor Richard Thake, Councillor Terry Tyler, and Councillor Michael Weeks. Those who are no longer members, I would like to thank former councillors Bill Davidson, Steve Deacon-Davis, Helen Oliver and Val Shanley, who did not stand for re-election, and those who were unsuccessful at being re-elected. My final thanks goes to the former leader of the council, Martin Steers-Hanscom, who was unsuccessful in being re-elected. Martin would have very much liked to have been here this evening, but as you're aware, the COVID social distancing measures mean that space in the chamber is limited. He does, however, hope to come to a future meeting once some form of normality resumes. Martin served the council for 28.5 years, the last 2 as leader of the council. I am sure you would all wish to join me in wishing him well in his life outside North Herts District Council. Anyone got anything to say? Councillor Dennis Harburg?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm sure that we're all going to have our own personal and unique special memories of Martin, and I just wanted to share some of mine. I first met Martin back in 2014 in this building when we were both being panelled, which is a very strange phrase, to be candidates in the 2015 local elections. I was nervous, self-aware, and battling a massive confidence deficit. So not very much has changed since then. He was an incredibly supportive and kind person to have in that room with me when I was struggling to find my feet and trying to convince myself that going into local politics was the right thing for me to do. And he was also full of stories of political successes that he'd achieved in his lifetime, but also some of the failures and the lessons that he'd learned as a result of those less successful moments. And he wasn't afraid to admit to those or to discuss them. Although our meeting at that time was very brief, he made a lasting impression on me, especially his passion for cooperatives and working together. In 2016, he helped me organise and chair a meeting exploring community energy initiatives in Walsworth. And I hope that we're going to be able to build and develop some of those ideas that we kicked around at that point, and that we heard as we move forward with cooperative development in this council and our climate strategies. Martin took this council into the Cooperative Council's Innovation Network. He led us by example, and he laid the framework for us to begin creating a better normal as we emerge from this COVID crisis, with cooperative principles at its heart. Outside of this place, Martin has worked for many years supporting our community via the Black Squirrel Credit Union, and many of you will know of his charitable work in Corrymeena. I really hope I pronounced that correctly. Martin Steers-Hanscom is a dedicated, passionate, caring individual who's given us much, from whom we can learn much, and who I hope this administration continues to make proud. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I'd like to also put on record my thanks to Martin Steers-Hanscom for all the work that he did for North Herts District Council. And just to give my little first memories of working with Martin was back in 1999. And I know there's always a sigh when I say that, because there's councillors in this chamber that weren't even born then. But he was chair of the Scrutiny Committee, and I was chair of the Examination Review and Improve Committee, commonly known as ERIC, that when morphed into Park, where we worked together on looking at the new council structure. I think I would say of Martin, he was always a councillor that listened a lot and learned a lot. He worked tirelessly for his communities, and I'm sure that the council will miss him. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I go back just a few years, first meeting Martin in '95 when I came onto the council. He was always a gentleman, polite, kind, considerate of people from all parties. And it's for 20 odd years, we battled in opposition. Obviously, I've had the pleasure of the last 2 years with Martin as the leader of the council, myself as deputy. It has been a learning curve to see the dedication that he puts into the role, but he still remains calm, collective and objective. And as Councillor Dennis Harburg said, his experience and knowledge will be missed, but we wish him well.
Thank you. Next, registers of interest. Can I remind members to complete their registers of interest forms online? Oh, sorry.
I wanted to agree with everything that had been said.
Councillor Billing, please speak.
I wanted to endorse everything that has already been said about Martin Steers Hanscom, but really shock some of the younger members just by saying that Martin and I both stood for election for the first time on the same day, which was, I think, the 1st of May 1979, a day when Margaret Thatcher was elected as Prime Minister as well. And I just wanted to record the fact that on that occasion, he was successful and I was not.
Thank you. Register of interest. Can I remind members to complete their registers of interest forms online? This will need to be completed on your laptops or a computer through Citrix. Delivery of laptops to newly elected members will start tomorrow. If you have any issues accessing the form, please contact the committee services team. Rules of debate. Can I remind members that you may only speak once on a motion and once on any amendments? Comfort breaks. I do not intend to have any comfort breaks unless members request one. And if there is a request, it will be for longer than usual because of all the regulations to do with COVID and the marshals having to make decisions about individuals and so on. So bear that in mind. Number 7. District Council election results, including all polls on the 6th of May 2021. Can I invite Melanie Stimpson, Returning Officer, to present?
Thank you, Chair. I don't have anything further to add other than to say that the results of all the polls have been included for completeness on the 6th of May.
Is there any debate? Thank you. Item 8, Leader of the Council. Can I invite nominations for Leader of the Council?
Madam Chairman, can I please nominate Councillor Elizabeth Dennis-Harburg as Leader of the Council?
Thanks, Chair. I'm absolutely delighted to second the nomination of Councillor Elizabeth Dennis-Harburg as Leader of the Council.
Nominations? Any comments? Hilary, do you want to go to the vote?
So you're voting on the proposal that Councillor Elizabeth.
Oh no, sorry.
We do vote on the leadership because it's a stronger leader model.
So if I can ask you to vote yes, no, abstain in the usual way. Matthew, are you ready? If you can vote now, please. Has everybody voted? Thank you, Matthew. That's carried. Thank you.
Item 9, noting the appointment of a Deputy Leader of the Council, members of the Cabinet and Deputy Executive Members for 2021-22. I would like to invite the Leader of the Council to present the report. Councillor Dennis-Harburg.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I think the report speaks for itself, so I'll just move to the recommendations, which are that the appointed Deputy Leader, Paul Clark, be Deputy Leader of the Council for the civic year 2021-22, and that should be noted that the members appointed as exec members of the Cabinet for 2021-22 and the areas for which they will be responsible as detailed in Appendix A be noted. and that the members to be appointed as deputy exec members for 2021-2022 and the areas for which they will act as deputy exec members as detailed at Appendix A be noted. I'll move the
Thank you. Item 10, appointment of members of committees, joint committees and panels for 2021-2022. Can I ask the Leader of the Council to move the appointment of members of committees, joint committees and panels for 2021-22?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And again, the recommendations are to note that for 2021-22, the seats allocated to each political party in the committees to which Section 15 of the Local Government and Housing Act 1989 applies, and the seats allocated to each political party on the bodies to which Section 15 of the Local Government and Housing Act 1989 does not apply, as set out in Appendix A to this report. And also to note that for 2021-22, members be appointed to the various committees and other bodies in accordance with the wishes of the individual political groups as detailed in Appendix B.
Can I just clarify that it's Appendix B as amended this afternoon, and you have a supplementary?
May I have a seconder, Councillor Clark?
And I'm happy to second that and reserve my right to speak.
Do we have comments? Hilary, are we being taken to a vote?
Yes, if you can vote with your yes, no and abstain buttons, please, on those recommendations. Thank you. Has everybody voted? Okay, thank you, Matthew. Thank you, that's been carried.
Item 11, appointment of chairs and vice chairs of committees for 2021-2022. Can I invite the Leader of the Council to move the appointments of chairs and vice chairs of committees for 2021-22?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I ask that Council notes the chairs and vice chairs of the committees, except the area committees for 2021-2022, be appointed in accordance with the details set out in Appendix A to the report.
Madam Chairman, I'm willing to second.
Any comments? The vote will be taken as a whole unless any of the positions are contested. Hilary, would you like to say something?
Okay, so there's no positions being contested, so the appendix taken as a whole. Can you please vote yes, no or abstain, please? Has everybody voted? Thank you, Matthew. That's been carried, thank you.
Item 12, key decisions and report on cases of special urgency. Can I invite Leader of the Council to introduce the report and move the recommendations?
This report details a number of the decisions which Cabinet and the leadership team took over the course of the last year. I'm not going to go through each of those decisions, and I ask that members kindly note the report.
Madam Chairman, happy to second and reserve my right to speak.
Thank you. After the debate, any comments? Okay. So the recommendations are that the report be noted. Hilary, would you like to take us to the vote?
Are you ready? If you can vote in your normal way, please. Vote to note. Yes. Okay, have you all finished? Thank you, Matthew. That's carried, thank you.
Item 13, approve a programme of ordinary meetings for the Council for the civic year 2021 to 2022. Can I invite Leader of the Council to move the approval of the programme of ordinary meetings for the Council for the civic year 2021 to 2022?
Yes, Chair. The recommendation is that we note the following council meetings for the civic year. I'm not going to read each of those out. I don't think it's necessary. And also the members of the council note the and approve, sorry, those meetings, and also the calendar of meetings set out at Appendix A of this report as well.
Can I have a seconder, please, Councillor Clark?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Happy to second. Just disappointed to say that we're not able to meet more flexibly due to current legislation.
Hilary, can you take us to the vote, please? Oh, sorry, I do apologise. Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just wanted on the calendar of meetings for the council that the next full council meeting is on the 8th of July. I do hope that on the 8th of July, that the full council, when we meet, it will be all 49 members of the council, irrespective of what's happening in terms of coming out of lockdown or whatever the regulations are, that obviously this room isn't big enough, but I do hope that the officers will be starting to look now for perhaps some contingencies that should the 8th of July require that we need to find the big venue, that they have sufficient time to actually find that so that all 49 councillors can democratically be together and meet. I think it'd be lovely that we were all there together, and I hope that all parties would agree with me. Thank you.
I suspect that we all share that sentiment. The logistics of it, I will leave to the officers. Did you have somewhere in mind?
Madam Chairman, I don't think that's for me to say, but if you would like me to, I'm very happy to take on that, but I don't really think that's my role as the Leader of the Opposition, but I'm very happy if you would like to give me that challenge, that I would take it on.
No, I just wondered if you had somewhere in mind, which is why you thought to bring it up. Okay, thank you. Where are we with that? Are we now at the vote? Oh, sorry. Councillor Allen.
I would just like to cast a vote of thanks to all the officers at NHDC for the considerable amount of hard work they've put into pulling together the online element of our entire democracy, as it were. Considering what's been going on this last year, the fact that we are able to be here as a quorum and representative in a safe way, in this way, I think that should be some thanks given to that and some appreciation, especially considering what this last year has been like. And that's all I'm going to say there. Thank you.
Thank you. I will pass these feelings on. I'm sure they're shared by everybody here. Should we now go to the vote?
Ready? If you can vote in the normal way, yes, no, or abstain for those recommendations regarding the council meetings and the calendar of meetings, please. Has everybody voted? Matthew, please. That's unanimous. Thank you.
Item 14, nomination of representatives on outside organisations and other bodies, 2021-2022. Can I invite the Leader of the Council to propose a nomination of representatives on outside organisations and outside bodies for 2021-22, except for the Hertfordshire Building Preservation Trust, North Hertfordshire Council for Voluntary Service, and the Royston First Advisory Council bid, for which separate votes will be required. Please note that these two organisations, please note there are two organisations that are being disbanded at some point in the future, which are included for information and will remain on the list until notification is given that they've been disbanded.
Chair. So with the exception of the three organisations that the chair indicated, I recommend that the list of nominations of representatives on outside organisations and other bodies for 2021-22, as set out in Appendix A to the report, be approved. And that political group leaders notify democratic service managers of nominations of the remaining vacancies or any changes to the existing representatives on outside organisations.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please?
Chairman, I'm happy to second and reserve my right to speak.
Should we go to debate? Any comments? Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to propose an amendment to withdraw my name from the North Herts Council for Voluntary Services. I'm happy for Councillor Billing and Councillor Hunter to be our two nominations going forward. And I don't believe there needs to be a vote on that.
Thank you. So the recommendations, 2.1, that the list of nominations representatives on the outside organisations of the bodies for 2021-22 are set out in Appendix A, the report being approved, except for the three mentioned. Two now, sorry. Right, the two mentioned, and recommendation 2.2, that political group leaders notify democratic service manager of nominations to remaining vacancies or any changes to existing representatives on outside bodies and organisations.
Sorry.
If
you'd like to vote in your...
Oh, sorry, have I missed someone? Sorry,
Thank you very much. I think there are 2 points I wish to raise. The first is that it's proposed to make an appointment of me, actually, to the Groundwork Hertfordshire. When I was appointed to that 2 years ago, I endeavoured to contact Groundwork Hertfordshire and establish what I've been appointed to, and I discovered that actually there is no appointment to be made by this council to Groundwork Hertfordshire. Groundwork Hertfordshire is the administrative part of Groundwork East, which does have a board, but not one to which this council makes appointments. So I would suggest that actually there is no appointment to be made to Groundwork Hertfordshire. The second relates to the Hertfordshire Climate Change and Sustainability Partnership. It's not entirely clear to me that that is an outside body, but the Hertfordshire Waste Partnership is included in the list of outside bodies, and the Climate Change and Sustainability Partnership is, like the Waste Partnership, a partnership of district councils and in Hertfordshire and the county council. So I'm not quite clear whether or not there should be an appointment. I am the council's current representative on it. And I would suggest that if it should be appointed by this mechanism, we should be appointing the executive member for environment and leisure to that position.
Have you got the wording that, or would you like me to find it? I suggested.
I could probably find that, but you probably find it faster than I can. I'm proposing is that it should be added to the list of appointments once the arrangements have been through the normal checking process. I think there's some more elegant words than that Hilary will come up with in a moment.
If you don't mind me interrupting, Chair. So the suggested wording is that, subject to the usual checks on outside organisations being undertaken and being satisfactory, the Hertfordshire Climate Change and Sustainability Partnership be added to the list of outside organisations, and that the executive member for Environment and Leisure be nominated as the representative to this organisation.
Are we ready to go to the vote?
So we just need to make it clear that groundworks has been removed from that list on Appendix A as well. So that's to be as part of the amendment.
Yes, you'll need to vote on the list plus, if you want to do it all together, plus those two, that the groundwork is removed, and that recommendation I've just read out about the Herts Climate Change Sustainability Partnership.
Yes, please.
Okay. If members can please vote on all of those recommendations by using their yes, no, and abstain buttons. Has everybody voted? Thank you, Matthew. That's unanimous. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We're now going to consider the other bodies in turn. I'm aware that Councillor Derbyshire has mentioned one. I can't remember which one it was.
The North Hertfordshire Council of Voluntary Services.
We'll consider the Hertfordshire Building Preservation Trust. There are two nominations proposed for the one representative on this. When indicated, please use the yes button on your microphone unit to indicate a vote in favour of Councillor Tyler becoming Council's representative on this trust. Following which, you'll be asked to use the yes button on your microphone unit to indicate a vote in favour of Councillor Green becoming the Council's representative on this trust. You must only select a yes vote once. Is that clear? We will now move to the vote.
Indication light on.
Is this an appropriate time to be taking a comment? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just wanted to say about the Hertfordshire Building Preservation Trust, the nomination for many years was Councillor Green. However, when she became chairman of the council, after she was chairman of the council and Councillor Terry Tyler took over chairman of the council, I think it was assumed that this particular body, it was filled by the chairman of the council, which I don't necessarily think was correct. And she was therefore no longer the representative on the Hertfordshire Building Preservation Trust. Councillor Jean Green bitterly regrets that she was removed from that role because she enjoyed working with that outside body. And that is why tonight we have suggested or asked that perhaps she could have that position returned to her. It was taken away from her as it was assumed it went with the chairman of the council, which it did not. And she would like it back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Strong. Hilary, can we take into the vote?
Sorry, so if you can please use your yes buttons only, and if you use the yes button on your microphone unit to indicate a vote for Councillor Tyler to become the councillor's representative on this trust. Has everybody voted? Matthew? Thank you. If you can clear the vote, thank you. If you can now vote if you wish Councillor Green to become the council's representative on this trust. If you can vote now, please, using your yes buttons. Thank you, Matthew. The vote is 11 for Councillor Tyler, 9 for Councillor Green. So Councillor Tyler is nominated to that body. Thank you. Chair, I don't know if you want to call on the Democratic Services Manager.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Chair. So finally, we'll move on to consider the Royston First Advisory Council, the bid. So we have two nominations for that. We're going to follow the same method of voting as you've just done. So if you could please press your yes button in favour for Councillor Brown to become the council's representative on the bid. Matthew, if you're ready to take that vote now, please.
Yes, if you can vote, please, now. Thank you, Matthew. That's 11. Thank you. Over to you, Melanie.
And now if you can use your yes button on your microphone unit to indicate a vote in favour of Councillor Hunter to become the council's representative on the bid, please. Matthew, if you can take the vote now.
So if you can vote now, please. Thank you, Matthew. The result of Hunter is 9. Over to you, Melanie.
So therefore, Councillor Brown is the council representative on the bid. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 15, resolution to extend the 6-month rule, Section 85 Local Government Act 1972. Can I invite the Democratic Service Manager, Melanie Stimson, to present the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. So the report is being presented for members to consider an extension of the 6-month rule for councils unable to attend committee meetings for reasons related to the pandemic, including health reasons, now that the flexibility regulations have now ceased and that we are required to meet in person. The 6-month extension will take us to the 26th of November, following which it's hoped that the social distancing requirements won't be as stringent, and also that more people will have been offered the vaccine. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Dennis.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to propose a report and I'll reserve my right to speak.
A seconder, Councillor Paul Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Happy to second and reserve my right to speak.
Debate, any comments? Councillor Strong.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll make a very quick comment. I think it's very sensible that we continue with this practice, and I know that both sides have had councillors who have been in the situation where we've had to use the 6-month extension rule. I have no objections that we go forward with it. I think it's highly desirable that if we have councillors who do have to be excluding or for whatever reason and cannot come to the council chamber or meetings, then that we do make the extension for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Strong. Hilary, could you take us to the vote?
Are you ready? Okay. If you can vote in the normal way, yes, no, or abstain, please. If you're all finished, Matthew? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 16, constitutional reports of council under section 2.6.6. May I ask Jeanette Thompson to present?
Thank you, Chair. Hopefully this is straightforward. Some amendments had to be made following the regulations that we mentioned throughout this report, the report pack rather, which I'll refer to as the flexibility of meeting regulations 2020, and the fact that those flexible arrangements ceased on the 7th of May. So those amendments are reported to you as per the Constitution. I will say that this was made before we had some further advice from a QC, Peter Oldham, who was involved in the Hertfordshire challenge to interpretation, basically, about our ability to continue forward and potentially to meet remotely. So a couple of those are not as clear as they ought to be, which is at 4.820 and 4.821, which was when we were hoping, and that's set out in the appendix to the delegated decision, and that's about, it gives the impression rather that members may participate potentially remotely, and so potentially would the public, which they wouldn't be able to do. So I'm in recommending these to you today, I'm also saying I will pick them up again and make sure that it's clear that as the law stands at this stage, that members can't participate remotely, and neither can members of the public, although they can obviously view on the YouTube channel. And I'll do that at the same time and report to members when I'm picking up the changes that are required following the Cabinet portfolio changes that have been noted today. And obviously that will come out, but we will obviously be doing a further constitutional review and picking anything else up in any event fairly shortly during this year. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Jeanette. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Dennis Harburg.
Happy to propose, but I will reserve my right to speak.
Seconder, please.
Chairman, I have pleasure in seconding and like to thank the monitoring officer for her due diligence and hard work in what she's done. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, should we go to the debate? Any comments? No? Hilary, could you take us to the vote, please?
Okay, thank you. If you would like to vote in your normal manner, yes, no, or abstain, thank you. If everybody has voted, thank you, Matthew. That's unanimous. Thank you.
So we've done our last item on the agenda, so I'm going to close the meeting. But can I ask everyone to remain seated? Sorry, I've got one more thing.
Okay.
Councillor Tyler has got something to say that he forgot earlier on.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm sorry to say I suddenly forgot who my consort was going to be, so I better declare it here. My consort for this year is going to be Councillor Lisa Nash. Thank you.
Over to Hilary for the details of how we're going to leave.
Thank you. Firstly, can I ask IT to stop the live streaming for me and confirm that it's been stopped?